Hey there, how's it going? What is up, everybody? Irish Orangutan is back to pass along what you need to know to get better at Madden and grow your Mutt team. Enjoy the show. Today, to talk about the best team no money can buy and the upgrades that I have been able to make, I have pretty much spent down for the Washington Redskins theme team. Quite a few investments, and the team that I will have before you today. Um, very excited about what I have been able to put together and what I am able to continue to do in head to head. I feel as if my team matches up with pretty much everyone that I do go up against. There are some teams that you obviously can tell that they do have a lot invested into the game, either time or money. And having the Andrew Lucks, Bo Jacksons, Randy Mosses all the way powered up in their full version, and them not necessarily being pink even yet. And those cards are still expensive, but just very hard to go against a couple of those people, but working our way. And actually, my last game of Weekend League beat someone with a team that was, I say, considerably, well, I wouldn't say considerably better mine because it can't be that much better with the players that are out at this point, but definitely had a 90, 91 overall team, so feel very good about that. But getting started with the team at wide receiver, do have Torrey Holt up to 91 overall, being to 53, or excuse me, level 53. And another big thing that I have been able to do is starting to add Sprinter to my team. I have considered the other physical chemistries, and at least at the positions that I would most want to add Sprinter, I want the speed over the agility or anything else, so I will be having the fastest team, straight line speed. I just need to make sure that I can keep my players in front of them or have the opportunity to fly past them potentially as well. But having a 92 speed wide receiver, when most cornerbacks are not able to get to that level without some theme team chem and sprinter, that is very helpful. Randy Moss is another player that falls in line with that, with Randy Moss coming out and Torrey Holt potentially being better than him unless you have the full version of Randy Moss. It is a little bit of a slight to some people picking up Randy Moss, but if you are able to have both of them, having that perfect slot and perfect deep threat, it is a huge help. Andre Reed is another great slot for me. Tyreek Hill plays quite a bit as the split out wide receiver when I do have three sets, and Antoine Randall L is another terrific wide receiver after the catch and also at kick and punt returner. Have him as kick returner 2 and punt returner 1. At tight end, we have not made any changes. I have made even further investment into George Kittle. Absolutely love what he's been able to do in my run game. At the very worst, he's going to be my tight end 2. I believe I guess a very worst tight end 3 for my team for the rest of the year. So am marking into a tight end that can run that fast, and making him even faster should help my team, and cannot wait for his next team of the week or promo master player to be coming out, because he is one of the best tight ends in the league. Watched Travis Kelce today, and he is a beast as well. Love Delaney Walker, and again, what he can bring to my run game. Getting him up to that 81 run blocking with the zone run that I have been able to get up to tier 6. Just looking at some of the other chemistries, do have balance D, so we don't have to look at that a little bit later, but that is throughout my team. On the defensive side, have 15 of those Washington players, so have that to tier 3. Not a huge boost there. Have really been focused on running the football. Obviously, that's the most overpowered thing on offense, and I have invested heavily in it, and I think it has helped me out. Something that I will note, especially in this past week and a half, I've been doing my best to get Mutt Master done and just need passing yards pretty much and fumbles forced. Those are the only two things I have left. I have 15 fumbles forced, but I have over 10,000 yards I need to pass for yet. So I passed a little bit more than I probably should have in a couple of games, in a couple of situations that maybe cost me a couple of wins, but it was a good learning experience, if nothing else. And my running backs have been very dominant. My offensive line, which we'll go over in a second, has been very helpful as well. The rest of the teams do not have any up to five. Broncos is getting close though, so might need to keep an eye on that. Looking closely at the offensive line, Munoz is the big ad that I do have. Matthews got up to 91 overall with that zone run maxed out, but Munoz is an absolute beast. He can handle people in the pass game and run game. He's absolutely phenomenal. Great athlete, so if we need to move him to tight end at any point in time, he can do a great job at that. If you have not noticed at the tight end position, these Munozes, just athletes at the tight end position, are being very much overstated at tight end. Lane Johnson could do a great job. He actually has 76 speed compared to some of these other guys. So with his next upgrade, he could be a very viable tight end, especially 52 catching. That's crazy. I actually hadn't seen the 52 catching yet. Sadly, Trent Williams doesn't quite have the catching stats. I have no idea why. I've seen him run cone drill, so there's no way he can't catch a football. I guess those two things do not add up completely, so I shouldn't say that. But I feel as if he is nimble enough and enough of an athlete to be able to catch a football better than a rating of 10. But with the rest of the offensive line, probably not going to make a lot of moves. Hurts me a little bit to have Larry Allen there. Do have a little bit more of help from the Cowboys on the defensive line as well. But they do a tremendous job, and he and Matthews have really helped out when I'm trying to run the ball inside. Mawai and Munoz have just added to that even more and have made the left side of my offensive line even more viable to run behind. For those superstar abilities, now that we're starting into the halfbacks, did want to point out that I do have the other ones on Holt, making him a better slot receiver, getting him some extra routes from there, and he's been doing a tremendous job. Can run him deep, have corners being ran, posts being ran beside him, and he can get downfield on those safeties as well, as you can see with his speed that we did show you earlier with that 92. Looking at Clinton Portis, up to 90 speed with the sprinter, and just other theme abilities that he has gotten added on to the acceleration and agility. Just a very good running back. Really love running with him. Gale Sayer's light, maybe a little more of a thump behind him, being a little bit heavier, but really appreciate having him. Him and Marcus Allen are a tremendous one-two punch. Have been using them as kickoff returner and fullback. Have been using Marcus Allen as a fullback for goal line and for kickoff return as well. So I have Antoine Randall, Clinton Portis, and them back there, and that's a tremendous trio. Did think about Bo Jackson, and that's not a terrible option, but Randall L can actually block pretty well and can leave block halfway decently, so is a good option to have back there if you don't have him as your number one kickoff returner as well. Ricard, I do believe we showed him off with his most recent stats, but with zone run maxed out, he looks absolutely phenomenal. Just wish his speed was a little bit better in some regards, but with him being so slow, it actually helps time out a couple of the runs that I do have. Definitely don't hit that sprint button behind the line of scrimmage, and that slow speed does not hurt you out too terribly bad. With Michael Vick, I was against having him for a short period of time and have been passing with him, and he's been able to make almost every pass that I have wanted. He has been missing on a couple of throws, but so does every other quarterback. Just don't get him under immense pressure and he'll do a fine job. And just with his ability to have 88 speed when you do need it is a tremendous safety blanket. Also, his 91 throw power just allows you to get the ball down the field. And if you're running the ball, say 60% of the time, it can help you out immensely when you're trying to wing it, when you have the defensive back sucked up to the line. It just allows you to do something other than what a Kirk Cousins could allow you to do. Just to have a couple more yards to allow that wide receiver to beat the cornerback. Otherwise, with Cousins, you just won't be able to throw the football that far. On the offensive side, again, I have the two halfbacks with superstar abilities as my kickoff returners. don't want to be returning all that many kickoffs, but when you do, you definitely want to have your best options out there. We'll try to load it in. Defensive side of the ball, we did try to bolster things up over here as well to try to help ourselves out. I do have the 91 overall Shazier now that he has gotten that captain token available. Hopefully with the next promo, another captain token will be available. We'll be able to continue to bolster him throughout the year. At the second middle linebacker, we have Devin White, who we picked up from the Gauntlet. So obviously at middle linebacker, we have a lot great going on. Do you like running a 3-3-5 odd? So we run Willis off to the side and where Lawrence Taylor would normally line up. Then I move Taylor to the defensive end, just have Willis there. So do have these three middle linebackers in, and they do a tremendous job helping me shut down the run. Willis's block shedding and just overall strength does a tremendous job at the line of scrimmage. As people continue to get better, I either have to get his full card or look for a better option there. But at this point, he does a tremendous job for me. LT, hopefully you have him on your team. Do have him bolstered up a little bit more with that balanced D and sprinter added to him. So he is terrorizing people. Absolutely love scheming up things to try to get him off the edge. But I do run, as I said, that 3-3-5 at least 60% of the time. Run 3-4 odd if they are trying to run the ball and come out heavy sets a little bit more frequently. But if they're passing the ball, I might even set in that 80% of the time. Just running some other things and just have Lawrence Taylor, Reggie White, and DeMarcus Lawrence up front be those three rushers. And as I said, have these three middle linebackers try to take care of everything around the line of scrimmage, including a QB spy and some of those hook zones, potentially going out to a flat, not manning up people necessarily. Frequently, I've been using zone a majority of the time with this team, and that's been working out very well. When I go to that 3-4, do bring Lawrence and Vaughn off the edge, potentially put one of them in a QB spy. Usually that's Vaughn because of Lawrence's abilities, but Vaughn is not nearly quick enough to keep up with those guys who are sprinting behind the line of scrimmage. So just something to keep in mind there. Reggie actually is a big acquisition for my team. He's able to do tremendous things for me, and I was able to get him relatively inexpensively. I got him through the trade and set. He plays defensive tackle for me a majority of the time. Can't play him at end, but I just have the power specialist and reach elite on him at this point. When I probably will be getting rid of Lawrence when I get Vaughn. And, well, I guess that would make sense to keep Reggie in the middle at that point as well. So don't listen to me at that point in time. Still up in the air with getting rid of Lawrence, mostly because he's a Cowboy. He's played tremendously for me. But it's just my fantasy team. I don't know why I would put a player on my team that I don't necessarily want there unless he's playing way over his stats, and he is pretty much at this point. Jerry Hughes was playing the position that Reggie White was. I was actually having Stephon Gilmore as the other superstar player in the meantime until I had gotten White. I was potentially going to buy him. I've been thinking about that since he came out. But went out and got Lawrence because he was less expensive, all power-ups considered. So, very excited about who I have for options here, and Hughes actually gets moved into a defensive tackle position, use QB spies, hook zones, a lot of things like that, but he can also get after the passer, but he's tremendous in the run game and has that 78 speed, so he is able to get things done, but he comes in a nickel and dime when I play those base sets. The safety position, I do have kind of a strange setup here. I do like having these safeties play on my special teams as well as much as possible, especially while I'm trying to acquire Pat Tillman's stats. Having him at the backup strong safety has him come in on usually the weaker side of the kickoff team So I'm able to kick it at a fullback or potentially the backup halfbacks and hopefully get a fumble from them. Do have him up to that 88. I'm just waiting on two categories to get him up to that 90 and have the rest of the pieces just waiting there for him. Was able to get through all of um, the head-to-head games during the last series. I think I've gotten all the stars needed now as well, but very strange for me to get the head-to-head done first, but very excited that I have been able to do a little bit better in that regard this year. Pat Tillman is looking a little bit slow for starting strong safety at this point, but have been playing him in the box and mostly been having him as a backup. I've been playing Amos, but as he has been getting better, he is becoming a much better option. Just having him as your over-the-top safety is probably not a great option. Think Smith for the Vikings, kind of when he came out is kind of where this Tillman is for me at this point. And with Devin White coming in with that tremendous speed, just kind of makes me rethink the rest of my defense. And with Devin White going there, I was able to move Houston back to strong safety. So um, just added some pieces that really, really helped out my defense. Made some weak spots, some pieces of strength. Did have Deion Jones playing or Jamal Adams playing here and going from an 82 speed guy to an 88 speed guy who's significantly better has really helped out my team and has allowed me to shift players back to their natural position and let them play even better. Mel Blount isn't playing safety anymore. He's able to be a tremendous run stuffing cornerback. He's starting to get a little bit slower, as is Gilmore. Um, Gilmore is probably just going to be a dime quarterback at some point, but Blount is probably going to be my nickel cornerback for a very long time. I love the way he plays against the run. His speed is just going to be his one detriment, but his height is a huge advantage as well. Gilmore's tremendous at man, but I don't play a lot of man and head to head, so it's really not a great asset for me. And I'm really looking forward to get Darius Slay's either Team of the Week card or using my power up pass for him. His speed looks is going to look even better than what it does, and his zone coverage is going to be out of this world once I get him powered up. That being at 90 at this point almost makes me think I should be putting him as a starter over Gilmore at this point because he will have two more speed, and he'll have much more speed once I get that top end card. And we have Jason Verrett here, just a tremendous player, great across the board. Just a little bit short is his only negative, but he is tremendous at getting up and getting some of those jump balls. But when you're going up against Randy Moss, who is 6 inches taller and can jump as well, it's not going to go well, so you might want to put him in as a slot for your team. Doesn't scare me as much being out there. Not as many people have the full-on Randy Mosses, and we can start scheming things up if I see that starting to become an issue for my team, but do not at this point. But kind of talked about what we have been doing. Been running the ball a lot out of I and single back, and depending on what the defense does run, if they're running an odd set, then I come back with something balanced until I get them to run something balanced, and then I throw odd sets at them. So just trying to get an advantage on one side of the field with the offense, and then on defense, I usually throw an odd set out there and then make them adjust. And if they pull out something balanced, then I'll just pull a safety off to the other side. So just a couple things to keep in mind. Special teams has not changed a whole bunch. Again, the superstar activated players are DeMarcus Lawrence, Reggie White, excuse me, and Lawrence Taylor. And for special teams, I do have that Jason Elam who does help out. Being that focus kicker, I'm almost sure. Yeah, I clutch wouldn't have made sense for that, but that being the same speed every time is a huge help. But this is the team that I've been very, very happy with head to head. I think if you come out with this team as well, you have a tremendous opportunity to win most games. Gilmore is doing a very good job as a slot, and you could potentially ban him up in certain situations as well if people are hurting you with certain things. So just a few things to keep in mind. This is what I've been doing with my team. I hope your team is growing with the Madden and NFL season as well. I wish you all the best and take care. Thank you for checking into the Irish Orangutan channel. Keep coming back for more Madden knowledge. There will be consistent videos up every week, so make sure to subscribe and hit the bell button to see them all. Come by Twitch to engage and hit me up on Twitter at Irish Orangutan. Take care and much love, everybody.